Good afternoon, everyone. We're super excited that you're here. We're really excited about this month's call because we are going to be talking about goal setting and business planning. And we wanted to do this in October because we wanted everybody to have kind of a jump start on their competition. Almost all, everybody starts their business planning for the following year in November or December or even January. So we thought it'd be fun and beneficial for everybody to kind of get started ahead of time. With us today, of course, is our wonderful, illustrious coach, Judy LaDeur. Hi, Judy. How are you?
Hi, Julie. Thanks.
I wanted to remind everybody that there's a Q&A panel on your control panel. So if you do have some questions for Judy, please type those in and we'll get to those at the end. And on that note, Judy, I'm going to let you take it away.
Thank you, Julie. And yes, we thought we would get kind of a jump on goal setting season. I know that some of our brokers as well as agents are very good about sitting down in October and starting to get, ready with their business plan for next year. But most of the brokers I've been talking to have said that, oh yeah, gosh, do I have to do that already? So typically, by November for sure, you really need to get your business plan for next year in place. So we thought October was the right time of the year for us to conduct this call and to give you some guidelines for what you might be looking for your business plan for 2018. Each of you did receive a handout that we sent, and so I'm going to kind of not go through the handout like piece by piece because it's 13 pages long, and I don't want you trying to set your goals on this call. It's really just to go through and let you know how to set your goals based on what we've sent you, and to answer any questions that you might have at that point in time. And so, first thing I want to start with is, do you have a mission statement? More and more companies are developing a mission statement, not only for the consumer, but also for their agents, okay? So when you think about it, your mission statement or your purpose statement with regard to how you treat the consumer is a completely different, maybe statement than how you treat those that you work with, but maybe not. So some people have one, some people have two. But when we talk about a mission statement, it's really all about what is that experience that someone has working with you. So since we're brokers and we're talking about your office and your business plan for your office, I'm going to stick with just that broker plan. So if you think about your mission statement to your agents, what is it that you want an agent to experience when they come to work in your office? What is it that you do really well? Are you developing agents to work at their full potential? Is it more of an atmosphere or a culture that they're going to experience when they come to you? So if you haven't really thought about a mission statement before for your company, you might want to give that some thought and create that mission statement not only for the consumer, but really for the agents that work within your office. Once you have that mission statement created, it should go at the bottom of your email signature. It should go on the back of your business card. It should be on your website. It should be in your recruiting materials. It really should be in everything that you do. It shouldn't be something that you just kind of do because it's an assignment and then you toss it back on that shelf. I was staying at the Ritz-Carlton in St. Louis a couple weeks ago on business. And I have to tell you, as you know, the Ritz-Carlton is an amazing place to stay. And if you've never been at the Ritz-Carlton in St. Louis, I would highly recommend that you go. But for the entire 3 days I was there, their mission statement just resonated with me, which is, ladies and gentlemen, serving ladies and gentlemen. Just that simple. I really just felt like royalty. I was on a special eating plan that their chef, on a daily basis, all the people in the club lounge would say, "Good morning, Miss LaDeur. Good afternoon. How can we serve you? What can we get you to eat today?" The chef is prepared once again to make sure that he's cooking the things the way you want, and that's really what I mean when you create a mission statement. It really should talk about who you are and that experience. Another great one is Marriott. We care to make a difference, and or Lexus, to attract and retain customers to the highest value products and services. and the most satisfying ownership experience in America. And again, I own a Lexus, and that's very true of Lexus as well. So I'd like to just kind of encourage you to look at making 2018 that year that you have a mission statement for the agents in the office and the experience that they're going to have when they work there. Your mission statement also should really address or point to your platform. And what is your platform? Well, if you were on our Master Recruiter Club call last month, we addressed working on your platform. The platform is what you're really good at. The platform is kind of a foundation for your company, and it's the foundation that you build everything from. For example, your platform might be a training-based platform. You might be doing training, coaching, mentoring, a lot of accountability, and everything within your organization is designed to develop and help people grow. And if so, if that's your platform, your recruiting tools and systems point back to that platform, but your mission statement should as well. We also have a broker whose platform is a social platform. He has 2 big parties a year. He has over 100 agents from other companies come to his party. He is very well liked in the industry, and so we built his platform just based on the fact that everyone likes him and that it's a very social environment even within his offices. So everything within his offices kind of falls into that. It's fun to work here, and people really enjoy working there. And so our tools, our recruiting presentation, everything really came back and kind of pointed to that. So the next thing you have to do is, if you haven't yet identified your platform, what is it that you're really good at? Make sure that you do that first before you create your mission statement. And once again, it's based on what you do really well. So I'm going to give you some quick ideas here. A couple of them we talked about. Could be that it's a training-based platform. It could be that it is a social or culture-based platform, but it also could be something that's more lead generation. So we have a lot of companies out there that have platforms that are based on lead generation. It also could be a support platform, meaning that you have in-house marketing support, closing coordinators, a lot of different things that just support an agent. So your platform is, if you take a look at everything that you do really, really well, that should give you an idea of what that platform looks like, and it is, of course, the foundation for your entire recruiting program as well. So it makes a lot of sense that if you haven't identified your platform, that you do so before 2018, so we make sure we build 2018's program around that platform. The next thing that you're going to see on your handout is a page that basically says, what are your company objectives for 2018? And that's on page number 5. What do we mean by company objectives? It could really be anything. It could be that your objective is to be profitable in 2018, because not everyone is. Your objective could be to increase profits by 40%. Maybe you want a very specific number, which is even better. Could be that, we have 35 agents today, but the objective for 2018 is to end the year with 50 agents, and that becomes an objective. You could have an objective of opening up a new office in 2018, bringing on a full-time recruiter, hiring a general manager. There's just so many different things. You might even look at bringing services on board in 2018 that you don't currently have. And so when you look on page 5 where it says, what are your objectives for the year? We've got 4 spaces there for you to fill it in, but you might decide that you have more objectives for 2018. But you definitely need to start with your objectives, because each of these objectives will require action plans. Now, the next thing that is on your sheet is called your market intelligence and your overview of the competition. How much do you know about your competition? Do you know what their per person production is compared to yours? I think per person production is one of the things that everyone needs to know, and you need to look at it each year, because it will vary from one year to the next. If your per person production is higher than that of your competition, it means that for whatever reason, your agents are more productive within your organization, and that's really important. What sort of services does your competition offer, and how does that compare to what you're offering? Do you feel as though, from a service standpoint, you can compete with anybody else in the marketplace? If not, maybe there's some services that you might want to introduce. What typically happens when an agent goes to your competition? So are there companies that agents go to that they just stay forever, meaning they do a great job in retention? Does their production go up when they go to that company? Does it go down? So there's a lot of different things that you can take a look at, but bottom line is that what you're looking for is how's my competition vulnerable? So you want to look at the different companies and think, are any of my immediate competitors close by vulnerable for any number of reasons? If so, I would definitely make them a target for the first of the year. Those agents are agents that you'll want to start talking to and communicating with now, so that if they decide to make that move, since the first of the year is a big time for that to happen, that you want to be in line, you want to be first in line. You also want to see, what are the strengths of the competition and what are their weaknesses, okay? What are their services that they offer? And again, how does it compare to you? Now, one of the things that I typically recommend is once you've completed this exercise, that the next thing is to say, do I need to create or add any new tools? For example, and it could even be something to do with your space. A lot of brokers today are renovating or remodeling their offices for that millennial agent who wants that open cafe type of an office environment. Now, you don't have to, but if you've got 2 or 3 of your competitors who are, in fact, attracting all those agents and they interview with you, but they end up going somewhere else, and that issue is more maybe the layout of the office, as well as some things that you maybe do or do not have in place to attract those millennial agents, then maybe it's time to look at that. If marketing is something that, let's tie marketing into increased profits. Agents always intend to do marketing, but they usually just forget to do it, or they don't get around to doing it. And that's why so many of our companies have marketing support services, meaning that they've made it as easy as possible for agents to do their marketing. If you don't have marketing support, or maybe it's online marketing support, but you want to put someone in-house to encourage those agents and actually do that marketing for them for a small fee, then maybe that's a tool that will either allow you to compete more effectively in the marketplace with other companies that have that, or actually outmaneuver your competition. So take a look at, are those 12 compelling reasons that you created, which were the 12 primary reasons agents join your company, are those 12 compelling reasons still compelling enough for you to compete in the marketplace and to hit your goals? Which makes it the time to evaluate those compelling reasons. What I found a lot of times is that when you go through our training, as each of you know, in those 3 days, I make it an assignment that everyone has to create 12 compelling reasons to join. And that is a really challenging thing for so many people to create. A lot of people just really struggle. They can get to 6 or 7, but it's hard to get to 10 or 12. But once they've done that assignment, typically I'll come back 3 or 4 years later and find that they've never gone back to look at those compelling reasons to join. So I want to remind you that every single year in the last quarter, you should be evaluating your compelling reasons as they compare to the competition, and to ensure that they're all pointing to your platform with regard to what you're doing well. So everything here ties in together. And this is just something that you should be doing in advance of actually writing out that business plan, okay? Part of your business planning. The next phase is to really just kind of remove the barriers. What's perhaps keeping you from recruiting the agents that you want? And I do still find that a lot of brokers are not consistent with their social media. Keep in mind that I'm not concerned about your networking with agents via social media and hanging out on Facebook all day long, or even LinkedIn, or anything in the way of social media, Twitter. But I want you to apply that 20-10-5-1 rule every day with your own agents and the recruits that you're trying to recruit, because what that does is it keeps you positioned, it keeps you engaged. If you are applying the 20-10-5-1 rule, meaning you're 20 minutes on Facebook, you are liking 10 things that your recruits are saying, you're making 5 comments on something that recruits have posted, and you are sending out one personal message per day, that's 85 touches to your recruits every single week. 10 times 5 is 50. 5 times 5 is 25, and 5 times 1 is 5. So we add those up, you get 85 touches, or 80 touches a week, actually 80 touches a week to your hit list. Now, the same is true at the end of the day, okay, because retention is equally important. So you need to apply that same rule at 20, 10, 5, 1 at the end of the day so that your agents are getting 80 touches from you every week as well. Don't forget, we've given all of you the link to set up a list. And when you set up a list, which is different than a group in Facebook, it means that when you click on that list to the left-hand side, that only the comments from the people that are on that list will show up. That makes it really easy to go to your recruit list, get through that in less than 20 minutes, and then go to your own agents. But typically, I think that at the end of the day is a better time to check in with your agents so you know what happened during the day. But the recruits in the morning, so you know who you might want to reach out to that day based on what's going on in their life. Texting. If you're not texting today, you are missing a great opportunity. I have found that drivers especially, or any successful agent, any team leader, the really top producing agents, they're very busy. When you're calling and they don't know what you're calling about, typically they're not even going to take that call. If you leave a message and they don't feel like talking to you, they won't return the call. But they will respond to texting because it's fast and it doesn't involve that personal interaction, especially when it comes to drivers. Every Monday, you should be sending out 10 texts to people that you know. And here's the key. If you're not texting people that you know, the response isn't going to be very well. So you want to text people that are going to know who you are. Just send them out a text. Hey, you know what? Let's sit down and talk to you about your business, what we're doing here at the company, what day this week looks good for us to get together. Just a very direct, quick hit. Just send 10 of them out every single Monday. You'll get 1 or 2 that'll respond, and that's really all that we're really looking for. Recruiting pages on your website with testimonials and results is the next thing I want to talk about. I've been looking at a lot of company websites recently, and what I've noticed is that a lot of people have the Join Me site. Just says if you're interested in joining, click here, but nothing too exciting. If you're going to have a recruiting page on your website, it should have testimonials and results. You should have video testimonials of the agents who have joined you over the past year. Video testimonials of agents who have been with you for a long time. Have links that click on different tools or systems or opportunities that you offer. Put quotes on there from agents that talk about what happens when they join your team, because that is the most important thing that a person should see when they go to your page. Is it should create the desire to have the results that the others have already had who have already joined your company. So maybe it's time to take a look at that page. And the other thing I always have a lot of fun with is collecting the business cards of all of the people that are in our classes to say, like, what does your card say? I'll tell you what it shouldn't say, honestly. It should not say that you would love to get the referrals if they know of anyone who's buying or selling real estate. Now, I realize that some of you still sell real estate, but if you own the office or you're the manager, you're looked at on a leadership role. And most of your business that you're doing is already referral or repeat business. Your job on a daily basis is to build the team. And so if you're going to ask for referrals, it should be if you know of someone who's looking to work in an energetic, fun environment. We'd love to talk to them about joining our team, because those are the referrals that you really are looking for. Also, what does your title say about you? Does it say that you are a coach or a broker, or the owner, or a recruiter? It can say anything, but it shouldn't really indicate. Your business card shouldn't look like you're a sales agent, okay? And on the back, your mission statement with regard to how you work with your agents and what the agents experience when they come to the office, the back of your business card is a perfect place to put that mission statement. So everything on there should really basically show that you're as the leader. I also, I still have some brokers out there that have not settled down with a CRM program. You absolutely have to have a CRM program to manage all your data for recruiting. And it does have to have categories, because in the long run, categories are going to make it easy for you to stay positioned and stay in touch with all the agents that you're looking to recruit. For example, if you have a co-op category and every agent that you've worked with this past year is in the co-op category, then when you have a social event or an educational event, it's really easy just to click on that category and see who sold your listings this year, and send out a message to all of them saying, because you've sold one of our listings this year, we'd like to cordially invite you to a special event that we're hosting next month. And that event, even this time of year, could be in helping them set their goals, which is a pretty hot button for agents. Also, if you should have a category for each of your competitors, because as you know, each time you recruit an agent from an office, that office remains vulnerable for 10 days. And you can go back in to that office and talk to the other agents, and usually find 2 or 3 other agents who would be willing to meet with you. That being the case, you want to not have to think to yourself, geez, who on my hit list is with company A? If you just recruited someone from there, you want to click on that category and just pop them all up so that you can begin calling. So in the long run, the right CRM with the right category setup is going to make you more efficient and help your time management in 2018, which takes us into the next category of time management. Now, with regard to time management, it's kind of funny, because I always have people tell me, like, when I say, what is it that you need the most help with? Time management actually comes up more often than anything else, probably even more than recruiting, amazingly enough. But you know what? We all have the same amount of hours in our day and the same number of days in a week. And we could all use one more day, okay? Even this week I posted, I need an 8th day in my week on Facebook, because it was just like, oh my gosh, I need one day for me. But the reality is, we still get, successful people get what they need to get done in the time frame that they have allocated. Just sometimes it feels a little crazy. I'll give you that. But a lot of time management is taking control of the time that you have and learning how to delegate things that you don't have to do. So for example, if you have to spend an hour every morning trying to figure out who you're going to talk to, or who in that office you've got a relationship with, you just wasted an hour of your time, because having a category set up where you quickly click on that link would have saved you that hour of time. So taking the time to set up the categories will save you time in the future. If you have stuff that can be delegated to other people, then delegate it. Today it's pretty easy to even have your social media delegated. You can have your marketing delegated. A lot of brokers today have someone making their phone calls for them. You can delegate your phone calling for the recruiting. And actually, as your company gets large enough, as you can begin to grow, and depending upon your future plans and your future goals with regard to growth, you can delegate the recruiting if you need to. I think each one of you, because you're each one at a different point in your growth, you have to take a look and say, at this point in my growth, am I so stretched that I need to let go of something? Do I need to hire a manager and let go of that aspect of it? Or do I need to hire a recruiter and let go of that? Do I need to have a personal assistant and let go of that? Do I need a virtual assistant to just start taking some stuff off my plate? So one of the things I'd like you to do before 2018 starts is to analyze what can be delegated, what can be taken off your plate, what do you really have to do? Ideally, unless you have a full-time recruiter, I do need you talking and engaging and interacting with your recruits, and I need you conducting those interviews. And you obviously have to run your company, but there's a lot of things as you continue to grow, you have to really always be looking at, okay, I'm so stretched right now, something has to come off my plate. What can I take off and give to someone else? So are you at that point? If so, let's figure out what's going to come off. On page 8, we talk about what the value of each agent added to your team is. And whenever you come to our 3-day bootcamp training, we always have you do this as an assignment before you arrive, so that you know really what the value of each agent that you've added to your team is. I'm just, again, always just kind of amazed on how many brokers come up to me at that 3-day event and say, oh my gosh, I've never actually looked at what my value of each agent is. But it's very beneficial. Most people find that the value is somewhere between 9 and 12.5. So we're just going to use $10,000 for right now. If you know that each agent added to your team gives you $10,000 a year, then it becomes very easy to figure out how many agents do I need to recruit to get to wherever it is I want to go. So it's how much income do you receive per associate on the average? What is your fixed annual overhead? Now, some people do it monthly, and on our sheet, we do it monthly, but then we take it up to annually. It's up to you. But for right now, let's just, say that we're looking at a fixed annual overhead of, I don't know, $200,000 a year. So you're going to divide that by the income per associate to determine how many agents you need to break even. So if it was $200,000 on each agent's bringing in $10,000, you'd need 20 agents in that scenario to bring in enough income to cover your overhead. Okay, I think that's right. And so then the next thing is, it's not just about your overhead, but you have to also look at profit. And let me back up to overhead here a minute, because I do want to point out that your salary has to be included in the overhead. And I know some of you are thinking, salary, are you nuts? Like, I don't take a salary. Well, you should. You're running a business. So what would a successful business person, what would you have to pay someone to run your business for you? So if that's $100,000 and you're not building that into your overhead, you should. So now that $200,000 annual overhead goes up to $300,000 because you put the salary in there. And if you aren't collecting it yet, well, then the company owes you for your salary. But that also means that now, in order to have a $100,000 salary, you need 30 associates to collect that salary and also pay your overhead. And then there's profit. So again, if you're not taking a salary, you're probably thinking, well, there's no salary, there's no profit. Well, you need profit too. So take your profit desired, okay? And obviously that's not coming, that won't come until the income arrives. But what if your profit desired is another $100,000 a year? Then now you need 40 associates, in that whole scenario. So I want you to use that to determine what the goal is with regard to recruits. Now, if you're just first starting out, your overhead is always going to be much higher that first year than your income. At least for a lot of people it is. Or you're contributing your commissions as an agent to paying the bills. But for most of you, you're already at that 15 or 20 person mark at least. And so I want you to, let's just say that you're only at 3 agents right now, though, and you do all these numbers and you need 40. Well, to go from 3 to 40 in 1 year is not impossible. We have brokers do it all the time, but it would take a full-time focus on your part for recruiting, and you can get there in a year. But you might say, okay, in my first year, I'm just going to get from 3 to 25. And at the end of this year, I'll go from 25 to 40 the next year. But that's going to give you an idea of how many agents that you need to be to become profitable. And now you're ready to set your goals, okay? So with regard to your goals, which is on page 9, okay, how many recruits are you going to recruit this year? How many recruits do you need this year? And you're going to divide that obviously by 12 to come up with your recruits per month. And then you have to decide, is it new or experienced recruits per month? And so sometimes, even with the recruits per year, you might say, okay, well, I'm going to recruit 12 new agents this year, but I'm going to recruit 24 existing agents. So I need 36 for the year. And that gives you that division right there. I also want you to, at the same time, decide what will be my market share increase, which means that it's going to be easier for everyone to do business. You have more signage, more exposure in the marketplace. For example, if each of those 24 recruits sells an average of $2 million in business per year, that means your market share increase will be $48 million. So you'll be $48 million stronger next year by hitting this goal. But you will have also removed $48 million in business from your competitors over the course of the next year, which is going to make it tougher for them to compete against you, and more importantly, tougher for them to recruit against you. Now, the next step, once you know how many recruits it is, it's kind of like working in backwards. You start with the big number first, then you say, okay, how many interviews for each one? So again, if you've divided new and experienced, that might be different for each one. But let's just say right now that it takes 3 interviews to for whether it's new or experienced. Out of every 3 interviews, you recruit at least 1. So we need 36 recruits times 3 is going to be 108 interviews that you're going to have, over the course of the year to hit that. And the next thing we have to do is decide what are the action steps that we need to generate that number of interviews. And if you've got 108 and you're dividing that by 12, that's a little less than 10 a month, but you're looking at 2 to 3 interviews per week to hit that sort of a goal. If you're not conducting 2 to 3 interviews per week, I'm going to tell you the same thing I tell your agents. Agents tell us all the time that, they're earning $60,000 a year and they want to earn 100. But when I ask, what are you doing differently to earn 100,000, they're just doing the same activities that they did to hit 60,000 a year. So typically, they're not going to hit 100,000 in income. They're still going to hit 60. And how many of your agents have the same income year after year after year because they do the same thing? I also say the same thing in offices. Brokers doing the same thing year after year, not doing anything different, but they are having the same results. So maybe you recruited 10 agents last year and it's 10 this year. So if you want to jump that up to 36, obviously, some activities might be that you have to post ads to generate new agents. Maybe you're going to have to go to start prospecting at some of the pre-licensed schools. Maybe you have to get a list from the state and work that state. So those are some things that you might do for new. LinkedIn is a great resource for new and existing agents. With your experienced agents, if you haven't been doing marketing in the past, that activity might be something that you have to start doing now. If you have not been using social media in the past, that's a thing to add. So action steps basically are, what activities will I do to generate the number of agents that I need to bring on board? And that's, pretty much that's all you need to do to create that plan that you need for next year. Right now, I'm going to ask Julie to take over at this point and speak a few minutes to a new service that we've launched. We have a concierge virtual assistant program for not only the agents that we are coaching and who are members of our Profitable Sales Agent newsletter, but for the brokers, so that a lot of this stuff, as you're creating your plan, if there's something you think you want to take off your plate, Julie does an amazing job, and she is available to assist you. So Julie, can you tell me a little bit about those services that you're now offering to brokers?
Sure. Thanks so much, Judy. Basically, we have a lot of brokers who, they love the system, they love the tools, they just can't seem to find the time to actually implement them.
Right.
Or implement them consistently, I guess is the way to go. It's kind of a hit or miss, and we see that with agents and with brokers. And that, life gets busy, business gets busy, and the things that we know are going to lead us towards our goals kind of fall between the cracks, right? So one of the things that we decided to do recently was to set up this concierge program where we do it for you. We'll literally set up your email campaigns in a constant contact, eye contact, that kind of thing. So you can see what the results are. You can go in and monitor who's opening, who's reading, who's sharing, those type of things. But it's all done for you. We take your Monday morning emails, we'll brand a newsletter format in one of those systems for you, and we'll make sure that those go out every Monday morning without fail, so that you're staying top of mind with those recruits and with your current staff of agents. We know that it works, right? We know that how important that is, and we know that it works, but it only works if it gets done, right? So that's
right.
Part of what we're providing for brokers now is to make sure that they know it's done for them. It just happens automatically. Step 2 is we will send out your lumpy letters and your seasonal letters for you. That's another thing that falls through the cracks. And we know our clients tell us all the time that that's something that really generates a buzz in the marketplace. You send those lumpy letters out and they're fun, they're engaging. It's a great reason for you to follow up with a phone call. Oh, did you get that? And just a fun reason to call, really warms the call. And I really think the lumpy letters are part of what, one of the reasons why our brokers say, that we have put some fun back into recruiting, as opposed to them looking at it like a drudgery thing. We have put some fun into it, and that makes it exciting for them and a little easier for them to pick up those phones and make those calls. Right. We'll manage your social media marketing, and we'll also manage your company blog. One of the things that brokers forget sometimes is that if your site is not getting any new information on it, if you're not consistently putting new content on your site, then Google will fail to index that. It doesn't come back and again. If it's a static site, it'll just label it as a static site. So one of the things that you can do to drive traffic and to drive your Google results is to make sure that you're constantly putting new information on your blog each month or each week. So, and that's something that we can provide as well. So if anybody wants to know more about that, they can certainly call me. My number's on the screen, 813-957-2989. Or email me. If you click on the Contact Us on the Profitable Recruiter website, that will come straight to me as well. So I'd love to hear from you and answer any questions you might have.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Julie. And
sure.
So that's all we have for you today. We want to, again, thank you for being on today's call. And if there's, if you have any questions in completing your business plan for 2018, or you're not sure about something on your handout, we know it's pretty extensive one, feel free to reach out to myself and I'd be more than happy to help you. So Julie, thank you so much for hosting today's webinar. Awesome job as always.
We do have a quick question, Judy. Who should you be making your plan with?
Oh, great question. Who should we make your plan with? Well, it depends on your situation, but I think accountability is really huge, and having an accountability coach is always great. Some of you have coaches. In fact, I'm coaching some of you. But if you don't have a coach to hold you accountable and work through that business plan with, then sometimes you could do your business plan with your leadership team, because certain aspects of that plan can be done with the leadership team and should be done with the leadership team. You can do the plan with a spouse, significant other. Someone, even a person within the industry. A lot of my brokers have relationships with brokers in adjoining marketplaces that they hold each other accountable and they share and exchange ideas with. For me personally, I like from my business standpoint, I'm creating my business plan each year, but sometimes reaching out to people such as Julie, with regard to some of our ventures together, to work on our business plan. So anytime you have a joint venture with someone, definitely engage that person in that joint venture. But who in your life will hold you accountable to it? And what I found is that, sometimes even that personal person in your life, where if you say to them, once I get to this many agents, we're going to take a trip here. They'll keep you accountable to hitting your goal, just to make sure they get to go on the trip. So look for someone in your life that can help hold you accountable, because we all need that accountability from time to time.
I love it. I love it. All right. Well, thank you so much, Judy. What a great session we had today. Again, if anybody has any questions, you can email us through the website on the contact form, or Judy@JudyLaDeur.com. I hope everybody has a great rest of the month, and we'll see everybody in November.
Thanks again, Julie.
Thank you. Bye-bye.